You are too fat. You are too skinny. You are too muscular. Your legs are like sticks. Eat a burger. Why are your shoulders so broad? You look like a man. Girl, you can't win. Stop trying to fit somebody's standards. The only person who should be happy in your body is you.
Lately, I've been paying attention. And what I've been paying attention to is these people with these comments about these plus size women. Now, what I've been seeing is that everybody got comments and concerns about people's size. Really? How's that working out for you? So today, we're going to touch on that. Not only are we going to touch on the plus size thing, but we're going to talk about us fluffy women. We're going to talk about us bigger girls. We're going to talk about us plus size women. Whether or not somebody agrees with somebody's weight, at the end of the day, it's not your business to be in somebody else's business about their weight. But I see that people have made comments. Like I seen this one guy, he was like, fat women from the waist down, they ain't no good, and this and that. And Lizzo, with how does she think that people want to see her, and that with her plus size, and she's showing all her stuff and stuff like this. I see some of the most confident women on this here platform that goes the long way when it comes to their size. And they're not ashamed about it, but neither am I. But nevertheless, we're going to talk about it. Now, I'm going to tell a story about how I got back at somebody who had called me fat. But before we get into the story, I want to go back a little bit. I want to go back and I want to tell y'all why and what's the difference between a plus size woman, a fuller figure woman, and this, that, and the third. Because all women ain't just sitting around just eating. No, they're not. Some women have medical conditions. Some women have diabetes. Some women have thyroid. Some women, like me, my weight goes up and down because I have asthma. And because I have asthma, that means that whenever they got me on a steroid, my weight gets bigger. So right now, if you can see, my face is fat and fuller. My nose is a little puffier because my weight has went up. But I'm working on my weight right now, so we're not going to discuss that because this is not really about me. This is to touch on why you should and shouldn't watch what you say when it comes to a plus size woman. Watch what you say when it comes to a fuller figure woman. Watch what you say if it hurts other people's feelings. We get ready to talk about it. I didn't want this just to be a regular story time. I wanted to actually touch on the fact that men always have body shamed plus size women. And I don't even know why. I don't know why. First, I started looking at it like, well, maybe it's something that's wrong with the way that they look and they just wanted to voice their opinion. Yes, that's your opinion, but keep it to yourself. You don't know what kind of damage you are doing to somebody like me. That even though I have a big voice and I have a big personality, my feelings can still get hurt. Nevertheless, I have saw for the last couple of days, since I have not been on TikTok, I have seen men body shaming plus size women, and I never understood why. So what I did was I went back and I started thinking, what can I talk about with this plus size stuff? We're going to touch on it. A skinny man will always, 9 times out of 10, like a thicker size woman. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when you see a man that is into a larger size woman, it's for a reason. It may not be what people think it is, but I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. See, a little man will have to have a little woman to compensate for his little bitty self. But a man that's always into a thicker size woman is because he's thicker. Whether or not his weight is up there, he's up there. And 9 times out of 10, he's going to mess around with a thicker size woman because she can handle him. Now, I'm not trying to get on somebody for having a small mind. No. I'm just going to tell you the truth about what's going on with this plus size phenomenon. We're going to talk about it. We're just going to go ahead and get it on out. Because, see, I was like that. I was always, from the time that I started developing to present day, I have always been a plus size woman. And it never bothered me. I can still walk, run, jog, or whatever I wanted to do. I've always been able to do that. But before I was with my husband, it was times that I thought like, wow, all people like is thin women, thin women, thin women. And I'm not knocking women for being thin. I'm not. Because I've also seen women body shaming bigger size women. And I don't understand that either. Because 9 times out of 10, they mama is thick. 9 times out of 10, they aunt or their grandmama was thick. We're going to touch on this because, see, they don't give a damn how they hurt other people's feelings. So I don't give a damn about pointing out your faults. So it's on now. Now, understand that, yes, they are some bigger sized men that like little bitty women. But I have always heard men say that because he was bigger, he prefer a bigger sized woman because she can handle it. Because the way her hips and stuff was made. Prime example. Monique was dating a guy. And every time the guy came to my mom's house to pick Monique up, he had his friend with him. When he had his friend with him, his friend would always ride with Monique and her friend. And she didn't want to be with his friend all the time. She didn't want a third wheel. So this one particular day, she asked me, she said, Monica, ride with us. And I'm like, why do you want me to ride with you, Monique? She was like, because he got a friend. Now, keep in mind, I wasn't the type that would go up and walk in front of somebody and just introduce myself and stuff like this. I had low self-esteem. I did. I had low self-esteem. I didn't believe in myself. I always thought that I wasn't enough. So the guy's name was Brian, and this is his actual name. I'm not sugarcoating it. I'm not going to tell his last name, but this guy's name was Brian. And Brian always rode the coattail of his friend, which was Monique's friend. And because he would be able to pull women, this is how Brian got women. So when Monique asked me to ride with her, I kept telling Monique, I don't like his attitude. I don't like his attitude. But nevertheless, Monique kept telling me, if you say something wrong, Monica, you get it. I'm like, oh, okay. So we go riding. We riding. Now, I get in the car, and the first thing he do is he scoots all the way to the other side behind the driver. I was behind the passenger, which was my sister. And he scooted all the way over to the edge, and he put something between me and him, and this and that and the other. So I knew immediately that he had an issue with my weight, which was fine with me because it didn't bother me because I wasn't into dating like that anyway. But nevertheless, this is what he did. Now, when he did this, he constantly will make reference to, are you hungry? Are you hungry? Being funny. Are you hungry? Well, she might be hungry. Monique stopped him. She was like, that's my damn sister. She was like, don't ask her if she's hungry again. She was like, if you don't want to be bothered with her, say that. He was like, I don't want to be bothered with her. And this that I told Monique then. I said, Monique, take me back to the house because I don't want to be bothered with him. Now, keep in mind, he wasn't attractive at all. None whatsoever. Was he attractive? His hair was nappy. He had on ran down shoes, and they was tied too tight. So at the end of the day, I didn't want to be bothered with his dirty gym shoe having ass in the first place. But nevertheless, I didn't want to hurt nobody's feelings because I was shy. And when I got out the car, because the car shifted just a little bit, he had. Now, when I got out the car, because the car shifted, he said, well, her fat ass should have got in the car in the first place. When he said it, Monique turned around in the seat and she cracked him one. Whop. You know what I'm saying? But when she cracked him, it hurt my feelings. It hurt my feelings because I heard him when he said her fat ass. And when he said it openly. He wasn't trying to like sugarcoat it. He said it openly. So, of course, my feelings was hurt. I walked in the house. I didn't say nothing. I might have cried or whatever, but I didn't say anything. Maybe about 2 weeks went past. And he was still the third wheel with Monique and her friend. But because he had said this, every time Monique's friend pulled up, I would go in the house. Now, this one particular time, he yells out the window, Monica, you don't want to ride with us? You don't want to ride with us? But he had been drinking. Now, because he was drinking or whatever, I think he thought, because my self-esteem wasn't high, I think he thought that I was going to, do him. It wasn't happening. So, yes, I got in the car. But when I got in the car, he decided to try to feel on me and all this old extra stuff and this, that, and the third. It made me feel like that's all he thought I was worth. Now, the songs that was out was Guy had just came out with their album, which the album was Guy, and it had that song, Groove Me, Baby, Tonight. It was that album that was out. And the reason why I remember it is because I took a piece of paper after I rode with them and he tried to fill on me and all this other stuff. I still went home. I never wanted to be bothered with him again. But for like 6 weeks, I listened to that same album over and over and over. And what I did was I wrote down little exercises that I would do according to the songs that was coming on that particular album. So that's what I did. What I did was I started walking. I started like eating halfway. I was drinking a lot of milk and this. My weight came down. Now, because I didn't let him screw around with me at the time that this was going on, he noticed that my weight was going down. This is when like the stretch jeans the straight leg straight stretch jeans had just came out and stuff like this. So he noticed my weight going down. But when he noticed it, he was walking down the street. I was going to my house and I can't remember what he said, but it was something to the reference of, Monica, can I talk to you? At the time, I thought to myself, Monica, don't do nothing stupid. Don't do nothing stupid. But nevertheless, I turned around and I got my chance to say something to him. Now, before I get into what I said to him, this is how he looked. He hadn't had a haircut, so he didn't have a hairline. He wasn't the type that had good hair or semi-good hair or nothing like this. He had camel-ass hair. So you already know it was BBs all over the place. But he was the type of dude that wore gym shoes and wiped them off. But when he wiped them off, he didn't wipe them off and wash the shoestrings. No. He wiped them off and the shoestrings were still dirty. So he was dirty. The shoes was dirty. He didn't have a haircut. His clothes was like tattered. But nevertheless, he thought he was somebody because of the company that he kept. So when he walked up on me, by him still having that cocky attitude, he walked up like, oh, I see you looking good and this is this. Now, I had just got my hair braided. I had on some jeans and I had on a shirt or whatever the case may be, but I was looking cute. But at the end of the day, I didn't want to be bothered with him. So what I did was I waited until he got closer. And I told him, I said, I'm that same fat bitch that was getting out of that car when you called me a fat, when you said I had a fat ass and I was getting out the car. You called me fat. I said, but you take that same statement with you when you keep walking with your dirty behind. I said, so the next time you approach me, you make sure you at least stop washing your damn gym shoes with a wash rag and buy you some new gym shoes. And by the way, I got $8 in my pocket. How about you go get you a haircut? So I just went on ahead and I ran in the house because I didn't want to hear what he had to say after that. Now, nevertheless, yeah, I said something to him about saying that, but that brings me to the point of these people and that this plus size and fluffy women and big girls and all this other stuff. At the end of the day, it's men out here and women out here that like plus size women. There is. So if you have to sit up and keep judging people for their weight, you don't know what kind of weight that is. Like me, I normally stay anywhere between 335 and 316. I never get no lower. The lowest I think I got recently was like 306. But by me being tall, 306 is like me being 145. At the end of the day, I'm still hippie and I got breasts and stuff like this, but that's what my weight has been. Now, because I had caught coronavirus last year, I have problems with my breathing. So they put me on steroids and I blow up. Now, if you go back in my videos, my face was thinner. Now my face is a little puffy. But I started my weight loss journey on Monday. And so that's what I've been doing. But people need to watch how they say stuff and judge other people because it's really not your business why she's fat. It's not. It's not your business. I don't understand. Now, that brings me to when we was talking about sizes. It was this guy I had always spoke to him, and he spoke to me. Never nothing else going on, but he liked a friend of mine. This friend of mine was heavy. And she wasn't just like normal heavy. She was kind of on the fluffy side. She was heavy. But she kept herself up. But he always would tell me, like, Monica, I want to talk to your friend. Monica, I want to talk to your friend. Monica, I want to talk to your friend. She would always laugh because this man was smaller than her. His frame was small. He was tall, but he was thinner. And she will always make reference like, if we standing together, Monica, we going to look like the number 10. By me busting out laughing, like I'm trying not to laugh right now, but nevertheless, she will always say, me and him will look like the number 10. Well, one day he heard her say this. We was on my mom's porch and we was all sitting down and we was laughing and stuff. We had like some wine coolers and some Thunderbird or whatever the hell was going on, was listening to NWA on the porch. He told her, he said, whenever you are ready to try being the number 10 with me, you let me know. Now, she underestimated him because he was a thinner guy. And he wasn't the type that was like very vocal. He was kind of laid back in the cut. But see, she liked it the homeboys. She liked it the ghetto ones that rode around the city with their car, leaned back in the car, and all this other stuff with the loud music and stuff like this, the drug dealer type. She liked those kind of guys. But this guy wasn't like that. He worked every day, but he was low-key. When I say he was low-key, I told her, I said, it's something about him. I said, you better watch it. I said, something about him. I said, because he never brags about nothing. She kept saying, Monica, if I ever mixed it up with him, she was like, he gonna be sorry. Well, she got her chance to mix it up with him. Now, by him being a smaller frame guy, I'm sitting on the porch. She telling me, like, I'm going to go home because he going to meet me at my house. We're going to see what it's all about. Now, he never was the type to brag about his size. So, he didn't tell her that he had a surprise for her. So, by her being thicker, she went home and she took her little bath or whatever the case may be, thinking that she was going to give him the business. Now, he told us when he got off the porch, he said, I'm going to change her life forever. And when he said this, we took it for granted because he was smaller and she was a thicker size girl. So we was wanting to hear the next day about what happened when he got to her house. And this is what happened. Girl, let me tell you. He got to her house. She still was playing him like he wasn't about nothing. He had kept in the back of his mind about the number 10. This girl was never the type that if she was going to do something with somebody, she would always keep the light off. So she didn't know what he had, his weapon of choice. We waited that entire day until the next day. We saw him first. He got on my mom's porch. He told us, he said, have you seen your friend? I was like, no. He said, have you talked to her? I said, no. He said, you're going to talk to her. He was like, Monica, listen to me. She wasn't enough. He said, I absolutely am going to be with her. He said, and she is not going to put up a fight. He said, because not only did I make sure that she knew that the number 10 was the even number, he said, but I had something else that was a 10. Automatically, we was intrigued. So, not even 15 minutes after he said this, we saw her stroller coming out of Edgewood Courts doing 110 down the street to where we was. So when she got on the porch, all she kept saying was, oh my God, oh my God. He started laughing. When he started laughing, it was because she couldn't handle it. Even though he had women that was like way smaller than my friend that actually liked him because he was attractive. But he would always go for my friend and she was heavy. But when I tell you I understood then why smaller frame men like bigger size women, because they can't, if they have big stuff, it's big. You know what I'm saying? So when she got to my mom's porch, all she kept saying was, Monica, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. He was like, what's going on? He said, go ahead and have a seat. Now keep in mind, because we was dirty little kids and we was thinking nasty stuff, we was gonna watch her sit down on the porch. Not one time, the whole time she was down at my mom's house that day, did she sit down. She could hardly even get up the steps because he had something for her behind and she wasn't ready. But nevertheless, the girls that liked him, he chose my friend and she was fat. He chose my friend and she was fat and he gave her what she needed. And they stayed together for years. But at the end of the day, don't never underestimate a plus size woman because you never know what you can get. Now, we're going to get into another story. Now, I've told y'all before about the narcissist. I've told y'all how the narcissist would say bad stuff to me. Now, when this was going on, I think I was like maybe a year and a half into the relationship. This is when I heard him specifically say that I was fat and I was ugly. Now, when this was going on, Edie was in my life then. But me and her had not went all the way, but we had got some kind of way, but we don't know how much ways. We had some ways. But nevertheless, we had ways. I will always wear my uniform really, really big. But I had been walking to and from the bus stop. I had been like not eating as much, no pop and all this other stuff. Me and my best friend was losing weight. Now, because my self-esteem then was low, I would wear my uniforms layered. And I would wear I had a white uniform. And I had a white uniform top, a white uniform skirt. And I even had, it was cold outside, so I had on some white thermals underneath the skirt. I would, even though it was, to me, I looked it okay. To everybody else, they didn't know what the hell was going on. At this time, right now, I'm thinking, I don't know what was going on, but that's what I did. Edie had told me that me and her was going out. When she told me that me and her was going out, this was my opportunity to wear the clothes that I had been hiding inside of my closet that I had bought without the narcissist knowing, even though he was not there. I told y'all about the nightclub Majestics that's down the street, that was down the street from the projects where I live, where everybody on Fridays and Saturdays would walk to the club and back. This particular time, Edie knew that the narcissist was going to be down at Majestics. She had told me that we was going to go out. I didn't know that she was going to go down to Majestics, but nevertheless, that's where we ended up. Now, I'm going to tell y'all what I did. I'm going to tell y'all what I had on so that you understand that don't ever, ever, ever underestimate a plus-size woman, because trust me, it's something sexy about a plus-size woman. And I'm going to tell you what was sexy on me to my husband. Now, keep in mind, Edie is sitting behind me right now. And I know she's going to start remembering this part of this story because this actually happened. I took my time and my best friend took me to the hair store. At the hair store, I went and bought 2 Afro Puffs. I brought 2 Afro Puffs. I had on like a multicolored shirt. And I had on a pair of jeans that I couldn't fit at first. But now I can get into them because I have been focusing on me. Now keep in mind, people always say happy fat. Honey, I had happy weight loss because I was happy that every time I seen my phone, it was good morning, beautiful. Or it was every time I seen my phone is what you doing? Can we talk later? Or something like this. So she's constantly in my ear. But this is my time to get out with her. This was my time that I could get out with her and I didn't have to worry about being number 19 and a half. Anyway, she had took me out. When she came to my house to pick me up, I was in my bathroom. And the way that my house was made, when you came to my front door, there was the living room. If you look straight through, there was the bathroom. And right to the right was a small bathroom. That's where I lived. In 1 bedroom with me and my son. Edie stood in the living room and she hadn't saw me. When I came out the bathroom, because I had lost weight, and I had lost a lot of weight, because he had stressed me out so bad, I used the stress weight loss, and I improved it. So when I came out the door, when I came and started walking towards Edie inside of my living room, she saw the jeans that I had on. And she told me, she said, stop. She said, don't you move. She walked up to me and she took her hands on my hips and she said, I absolutely think this is the sexiest thing I have seen. Because the way that I call them 6-shooters, which is your hips when they spread out. She thought that was so sexy that we went to Majestics that night. And I was dancing with a guy. It was some random guy, whatever the case may be. But she had been looking at the jeans all that night. The guy got to dancing with me and she got fed up with it. And because she's sitting behind me, I'm going to let her tell this part. The guy was dancing with me.
Oh, he thought he was getting somewhere. And I told you to come here.
Now, Edie allowed him to dance with me, but then he started dancing with me sexually. And when he started dancing with me sexually, she stopped him from dancing with me. She told me to come here. And because I had been drinking, now the narcissist is at the bar watching all this play out. When she told me to come here, I started dancing in front of her. And it wasn't just the fact that I was dancing in front of her, but she had liked these jeans that I had on. So this is what she was focusing on. And I think I told this story because whether or not your size or how big you are, or if you're plus size or you're extra small, there's always somebody for somebody. People need to start looking at the fact that everybody is not going to be a size 2. Don't nobody really want somebody that's that small. And even if they do, that's their preference. So irregardless if the girl ate enough because she was fat because she ate too much, or she was fat because of her medication or her diagnosis, it doesn't matter why she's fat. But unless you are saying something positive and not so negative to her, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. Don't look. Because it's people like Lizzo, regardless if anybody likes Lizzo or not, Lizzo's confidence is always on 110. So if that is bothering somebody, if you don't like it, scroll past. If you don't like it, don't look. But don't make somebody feel bad because they're not your size. And it's not just men that do this, it's women also that do this. Women got it bad with that, putting each other down and, oh, she's fat, she shouldn't wear that, or whatever the case may be. Whether or not, if you didn't buy it, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Because 9 times out of 10, if you got any kind of surgery or you doing your weight loss thing or whatever, you supposed to be doing that for you. You can't sit and make everybody don't want to look alike. I don't want to look like nobody but Monica. So at the end of the day, yes, it irritated me that everybody was on this plus size, plus size, plus size. If you're not going to do nothing to prevent it or to correct it, keep your thoughts and your opinion to yourself. That right there has irritated me to no end. I am a plus size woman. And I have never, ever, ever been ashamed of my weight. Because it's not the motion in the ocean. It's the waves that you create because you're bigger.